everybody, it's me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to Fantrax Videos, things you need to watch for in Week 1. Here we are finally at Week 1 NFL Fantasy season, so here's 5 things that are important to watch and see how they start to progress. Let's start in Denver with the running back situation there. Royce Freeman now number 1 on the depth chart. That's important. Only a couple days ago, it was still listing Booker. That has changed. And look, Royce Freeman, if you're already an owner of him, you're probably very excited about this, but you got to temper expectations. He was not the most dynamic of all the running backs in the class, but the best thing about Freeman was the fact that he always showed up for games, he always played over 4 years, and the durability factor in a time where people are basically made of glass is really important. So to see him Week 1 go against Seattle, which is not the same Seattle defense we're used to seeing in the past, I think there's real opportunity there for him, and it's important to see what that carry share is between him and Devontae Booker. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Number 2 on the list. Let's take a look at the Patriots offense. How is it going to react this year? No more Dion Lewis. Julian Edelman's not going to be there for a couple games. They're going to be playing the Texans in Week 1. And that means everybody's very high on, obviously, Gronkowski, but Chris Hogan seems to be the one everyone's high on. But don't sleep on Cordero Patterson. Now, this is a guy with enormous talent, breakaway speed, all these important things, right? But he's had trouble catching the ball. He's had trouble running routes in the past and all that. However, he's looked really good in preseason, and if there's one thing the Patriots are really good at doing, is they're taking the castaways from other teams who do one thing really well and finding a way to utilize that one thing and really make it work, and I think the Patriots might do that with Patterson. Don't be shocked if he has a good game, and don't be shocked if we're sitting here talking about him in Week 2 as a guy to add off the waiver wire, so just keep that in mind. Also with the Patriots offense, trying to see how that running back situation works out with Burkhead, with Sony Michel, and obviously with James White, who's been there the longest tenured of any of the 3. So that's certainly something to eye on. Now, can we trust that week over week? Of course not, because it's the Patriots running back scenario, and that is ever changing as we've learned in the past. However, I do want to see Week 1 how that timeshare splits out. All right, let's get to number 3 on the list. Christian McCaffrey. Now, everybody's been talking about Christian McCaffrey. Seems like you're on one side of the fence or the other. I'm more towards the pro CMC sort of spot there, me personally, and it's because I do think he has enormous talent, and I do think that he gets knocked a little bit unfairly because of his size. However, the notion that all of a sudden he's going to carry the ball 30 times a game, that's a little nutty. Let's see what that volume is for McCaffrey in Week 1. Let's also see how C.J. Anderson works in there in Carolina. They've got Dallas this week, and that seems like a really good matchup. So my guess here is that he carries the ball 17 times. That's what I'm going for. It's these 17 carries for him, and I think he can probably get another 8 targets, probably will catch, I'm going to say 6. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he can get 6 out of the 8 and have himself a really big, monstrous game there. But C.J. Anderson's still going to be a part of this offense. Don't forget that. But let us see what happens here early going and see if Ron Rivera is going to put his money where his mouth is and really increase that volume for Christian McCaffrey. All right, number 4, things to watch for in Week 1. Let's talk about the Jaguars now. And look, this is a spot here where the wide receivers are in question. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to step up? Is it Keelan Cole? I don't know. Is it Dede Westbrook? I don't know. Is it Dante Moncrief? Possibly. See, my money's on Moncrief for a couple of reasons. Number 1, he's the most senior of the group, and he's a guy in terms of veteran understanding of the game that I think is going to be relied on heavily, kind of almost like a Marquise Lee would have. That's why I didn't like Moncrief before the Marquise Lee injury, but I like him now because, to me, they were kind of the same dude. Now that he is out for the year, Marquise Lee, that opens up opportunity for Moncrief. So my smart guess, my astute observation, my prediction is that Dante Moncrief is the guy in Week 1 that you're probably going to start to see emerge and want. Now, does he have the amount of talent that Westbrook has? Probably not. And yes, Cole certainly had some moments last year with Blake Bortles that make you take a moment, have some pause, and go, well, maybe there is a relationship and a rapport there. But I think Dante Moncrief is going to be the surprising one. And they're against the Giants, another defense that's certainly suspect. So I would expect a pretty decent day from one of those wide receivers, and Moncrief has got my money, so we'll watch and see if that happens. And number 5, last but not least, on the things to watch for, it's the 49ers running back scenario. Now, Jerick McKinnon out for the year. You've got Matt Breida. You've got Alfred Morris. I know I can't think of 2 sexier running backs you could possibly think about in fantasy football, but that's all right. Don't worry about it, because somebody's got to carry the damn ball. Now, the early going, it seems like Alfred Morris has the inside shot, and that makes sense because he is the veteran, and also because there is a reason why they went after and signed him. If they thought Matt Breida was enough for this running back situation here in depth, they wouldn't have signed somebody else. They would have just kind of waited around, and they had McKinnon, and they would have found somebody else. But the fact that they signed a guy like Morris, who is a veteran, who actually looked good at moments last year with the Cowboys, I think Morris is the guy that gets the 60-40 of that split early on. In terms of fantasy, it's going to be frustrating, but I also think Morris is probably the guy you want at the goal line, too, because of the veteran leadership and the ability to hold on to the football, and I think that is a good thing. It's not that long ago that Alfred Morris was a useful fantasy back, and he could be again. The trouble is, what's that split? And we're going to have to watch for that in week 1 of the NFL. All right, I'm Joe Pisapia. You can follow me on Twitter at JoePisapia17. Check out all the great content at FantraxHQ.com. For everybody here at Fantrax, stay on track. Have a good week 1. Peace.